I was working at TVNZ doing freelance promos, and a woman came over from Nickelodeon in America. She was looking for program ideas from the Antipodes, and a girl in Australia that I'd used to work with really vaguely at TV3 suggested that I might have some program ideas, which was quite random because I didn't. And so we had a coffee, and she said, think of some ideas. I went home and thought of some ideas. I'd just seen the Naked Samoans first play, and so I wrote Naked Samoans, and I thought, well, the characters that I really liked are 14 years old. The Naked Samoans themselves were in their early 30s at that stage, and they're not going to work playing the 14-year-olds, and you can't just get some other 14-year-olds in to play them, so let's animate it. And then by the time I got round to telling the lady, she'd left, and so she still doesn't know to this day that she catalysed that, if that's the word. And then my friend Kelly Martin got a job at TV3, so I thought that was a great opportunity to pitch her something, and I went and looked at my list, and I thought, wow, it's actually a really good idea, and pitched it to her at a lunch, and she'd seen the Naked Samoans, and she got it the minute I explained it, and loved it. So we were journalists together at the Auckland Star in the late 80s, and I sat next to him on his first day. On my first day, he was already there, and he actually got banished to New Plymouth for punishment for not turning up at some story. So I met him for one day, and then he went away for 3 months, but we had a kind of really instant connection on day one, and yeah, we were just friends ever since. Well, we were having lunch, and I said, what do you think about an animated Naked Samoans? And I guess I was not nervous, but it felt like quite a big deal that I was asking him, and he just went, yeah, sounds good, you're going to eat that? So yeah, he was into it, but yeah, in kind of a low-key way. So Firehorse was created just to make Brotown, and it's never made anything else. It's very Brotown centric, and we got some development money from TV3 and New Zealand On Air, and we wrote a script, and I got 8 Auckland artists to design their versions of the characters based on photos I took of the Naked Samoans, and then we put that in for funding, and New Zealand On Air really liked it. They gave us the innovation money of that year, so that was $800,000, and we needed $2 million. So it then took another 2 years to actually find the budget and then start production. I didn't know anything about animation. I still have the piece of paper, and I hold it against Maka Toa, our first animation director, when he said, we just need 10 really good animators, which is actually probably true, but we didn't have 10 really good animators in New Zealand. So about 2-3 months into it, after we'd started doing some test animation stuff, we realised that there was no way, because our style was so traditional in 2D, we didn't have the people here to do it. So at that stage we started looking overseas, and we went via the software company that makes the animation program. It's all hand drawn and hand cleaned up, but then it's coloured in the computer. So we asked those suppliers to recommend some studios, and they did, and that's who we went with for the first 3 seasons. We went with a company in India, and then we went with a company in India and in China, and then this series we finally found the best partners, and it's a big company in Manila in the Philippines. When we first started, when we actually put the proposal in 2002, I had another animation company's name on the project, because that felt really beyond me. It didn't even occur to me that you could have an animation studio. I'd made one ad for the eradication of the white-spotted tussock moth, which was animated, and that was all. So I didn't have a clue. And then I learnt more and more over the 2 years when we didn't get the funding, while we were waiting for the funding, and realised that actually it's just drawing boards and pens and pencils and paper and a computer software program kind of thing, and so demystified it, which was really good. We do a lot of the animation here. We do all the pre-production and all the direction and all the design here, and then we usually do about 2 episodes of full episodes ourselves, and so then we farm out say 4 more from the layout stage through to compositing. We edit everything back here too. So yep, our process has just kind of got better and at every stage of the production process. I kind of always clear everything with the boys, with the Naked Samoans, but I kind of make all the day-to-day decisions and do the direction, and then we have animation directors who direct the animation, and also a guy, Ant, who's just gone to be creative director at TV3, so we kind of co-direct the actual, when we're sitting on the Avid and actually putting it together, and the music and all that side of it. So yeah, but it is collaborative, definitely, very. I think, you know, the first people to actually start talking about it when it went to air online, were the stockbroker, the share market. It was like a share market website or whatever, and you know, that was kind of like, we weren't necessarily expecting that, but it does seem to really go across. I think people kind of maybe presumed at first that young brown people watched it, but old white people watch it too. Yeah. I just heard actually someone that was telling me about at Akaroa, there's a big like mural on the back of one of the schools, and it's like all of Akaroa and all the kind of the landmarks and stuff, and Jeff and Mac are sitting in the middle of it. I thought, wow, it's pretty good. So it's our final series. I'm not sure if Oscar mentioned that. Yes. Well, we're calling it the final series in the fourth form to, you know, give us an out if we want to come back and start them off in the fifth form, you know, in a few years' time. So, but we're working on a movie and also some TV specials. So the movie's been really different, just everything, just the logistics of it. Even when we've had read-throughs of the script, we've actually had to do it in 3 bits because we get exhausted, you know, doing the whole read together at one time. So yeah, just it needs to be much bigger, and we're on our, I think, 18th draft of it, and the story's changed quite a lot. The premise has remained the same, but the story has changed, and we knew it needed to be big. It's definitely got an international focus again, and we probably went too big, and now we've brought it, it's more real.